Imagine a world where the simple act of loving, truly loving, someone else could be the most powerful form of moral resistance. In a society fractured by division, distracted by technology, and numbed by constant noise, the very idea of choosing love as an ethical foundation feels almost radical. But what if love isn't just a fleeting feeling or a private emotion? What if love is a moral stance, a courageous commitment to see others not as obstacles or enemies, but as reflections of ourselves? Love, in the way most of us have been taught to understand it, feels deeply personal and often uncontrollable. It's thought of as an emotional impulse, something that strikes us in moments of intimacy or kinship. But what if we've been missing its most essential dimension? What if love is actually a practice, a conscious moral discipline, and even a virtue we can nurture within ourselves? For too long, we've treated love and morality as two separate domains, one tender and emotional, the other cold and reasoned. Yet the very survival of our shared humanity might depend on learning how to reunite them. Philosopher Megan Sullivan invites us to imagine a new way of being, one rooted in what she calls the love ethic. At its heart, the love ethic proposes that loving others, especially strangers, is not just a nice thing to do, but a necessary moral obligation. It's a worldview that demands we stretch the boundaries of our care beyond the people we already know and already like. And this is no small task, because when you're exhausted, overstimulated, and flooded with negativity from the news and social media, the last thing your brain wants to do is love your ideological opposites or care about people who've hurt you or seem utterly foreign. But that's the challenge, to grow into someone who chooses love even when it's hard. Aristotle once wrote that a true friend is like a second self, that their pain becomes your pain, their joy your joy. But the love ethic stretches this even further. Imagine feeling that kind of empathy for a stranger on the street, a refugee in a camp, a political opponent. It seems impossible, maybe even dangerous. But this radical empathy lies at the heart of what the love ethic demands. To illustrate this, Sullivan turns to a powerful story from the Christian tradition, the parable of the Good Samaritan. A man lies beaten and bloody on the side of the road. Two respected men, pillars of the community, walk right past him. But it's the Samaritan, someone considered an outsider, who stops, helps, and shows deep compassion. The point of the story isn't just that you should help people, it's that you should love people, even if they are strangers, even if society tells you they're not your problem. Because in that moment, the Samaritan doesn't just act out of duty, he acts out of love. He sees the man's suffering and claims it as his own. This changes the stakes. If morality is rooted in love, then ethics stops being a cold checklist of do's and don'ts and becomes something profoundly human and profoundly challenging. The love ethic forces us to ask uncomfortable questions. How do we love someone we disagree with? How do we love people we fear or resent? How do we open our hearts in a world that constantly rewards disconnection? The love ethic, according to Sullivan, is built on three powerful ideas. First, every person has moral worth simply by existing. You don't need to prove your value. You don't need to earn compassion. Your humanity is enough. Second, love must be the foundation of our ethical reasoning. Before laws, rules, or judgments, there should be love. Third, this ethic must guide how we engage with the world's most pressing issues, from inequality to racism, from immigration to political polarization. But let's be honest, this is hard. Most of us struggle to love even the people closest to us when they disappoint us, let alone complete strangers. And when we read a news story that makes our blood boil, it's easy to dehumanize the people involved, to write them off as monsters. But the love ethic calls us to pause, to imagine, what if that was my brother, my daughter, my best friend. And in doing so, we reclaim a sense of shared humanity that our culture has tried to strip away. Practicing love in this way isn't about perfection. It's about direction. It's about developing a mindset where we notice others more, where we slow down just enough to care. Instead of judging people based on their beliefs, affiliations, or behaviors, we begin by asking, what does it mean to love them anyway? That doesn't mean excusing harm. It doesn't mean enabling injustice, but it means refusing to give in to apathy, hatred, or indifference. If you're wondering where to begin, try this. Pay more attention. That's it. Pay attention when someone speaks. Pay attention when someone struggles. Pay attention to your own internal reactions and ask, what would it look like to respond with love here? Every moment you do this, you're strengthening a muscle that our world desperately needs. The truth is, love doesn't just happen. It's cultivated. It's earned through time, effort, and reflection. And as daunting as it sounds, this is where hope lives. Because if love is a virtue we can grow in ourselves, then we're not stuck. We're not helpless. We have the power to shape a better future, one loving choice at a time. So ask yourself, who have I failed to love today? Who have I judged too quickly? Where can I slow down and respond with grace? These aren't easy questions, but they are necessary ones. Because at the end of the day, being a more loving person isn't just about kindness, it's about courage. The courage to move toward others even when everything in the world is telling